What a beautiful day to talk about chaos and disarray. Well, first off, I'm not talking about Marvel's Loki. I'm talking about uh, Norse mythology Loki. There's a difference. There's a big difference. So I'm not talking about this supervillain which is the brother to Thor. I'm talking about the master of chaos, insults, deception, fucker of mythological horses, Loki. In this video, I would like to discuss if there's like some bigger plan at work when Loki operates, because he just seems to be just very chaotic. But does he abide by certain laws still? And the second part is, what can we learn from such a chaotic figure, and can we transfer some of those lessons? Can we integrate them into our lives? And can we come to a deeper and profound understanding of ourselves and our place in the universe because of this chaotic trickster? So, Loki's law. When I say those things, I think this god of outcasts might even get a bit mad. How dare I suggest, how dare I even mention the word law and Loki in one sentence, because he doesn't abide by any laws. He doesn't abide by any rules. I think he does. Now, he's done a lot of crazy stuff in the Norse myths, and usually those work out for the better. He got the gods in trouble, but he always gets them out, and the benefits outweigh the troubles. That's why the gods keep him around. But even if I just disregard that fact, push it away, and I think, what's the worst thing that Loki's ever done? Well, Loki is ushering in Ragnarok. So that's pretty shitty. That's pretty bad, the death of the gods. But what ushered in Ragnarok? The death of Balder. The death of the god of beauty. Now, if you don't know, like, the funny stuff is, like, Balder, the god of beauty, is prophesied to die. And his death is prophesied to be the beginning of the end for all life on earth, and even for the gods themselves. So the gods don't want this to happen, and his mother, which is Frigga, some people say it's Freya, but I'm gonna go with Frigga, doesn't want this to happen, so she makes everything on the planet swear an oath. So so they don't hurt Balder. Loki, of course, being Loki, makes sure that Balder is still killed. When he's dead, all the gods come together and they try to negotiate with Hel to get Balder back, and they almost have it. They almost got Balder back from the dead, but Loki, of course, also stops that. So Loki is kind of seen as the bad guy in that story, because, well, he's responsible for the death of a god, and he's responsible for them not bringing him back. And that could also be because, well, the guy who wrote these myths down, Snorri, I'm pronouncing that wrong, don't hate on me, could come, it came from a Christian background, so maybe he just saw it more as like good and evil, and especially the death of Balder is more like a Christ-like story of like something really good and beautiful, dying, just like Christ. But it doesn't end there, it's not as black and white. It's not as black and white as we are brought up. It's not in black and white as Christianity, they say this is bad and that is good, because the death of Balder and Ragnarok itself is part of a larger cycle of death and rebirth. We all know that Ragnarok isn't the end of everything. We know that Balder will be the first to be reborn, and man will be reborn, and life will start again. So maybe, this cycle and Ragnarok is a very natural cycle. And maybe all the gods Maybe all the gods think too small and want to stop this cycle. And it is only Loki that makes sure that this cycle continues and that this natural process keeps moving. So that's kind of my theory why I believe that Loki still abides to a law, to a higher law, that he still fits into the scheme of things perfectly. And that even though he is very mischievous and can be very, he can cause a lot of damage, he's still very welcome in the grand scheme of things. Now, for the second part of this video, which I think is the most interesting part, is there such a thing as Loki's law? Is there such a thing of the law of chaos? I started thinking about that like months ago a lot. So I started thinking, are there any archetypes which are similar to the god of chaos? Like in the tarot deck you have the fool. Is he the fool? No, I don't think Loki is a good archetype for the fool. He's very intelligent. And you could even argue that Loki symbolically represents our own intellect. Because let's be honest, nothing more devious and tricky than your own mind. So maybe when we have these bad thoughts in our heads, for me it's like, maybe if I just eat that whole row of cookies, it probably won't be so bad. And then I eat that whole row of cookies, and then I eat like for 3 days straight. Then I get fat, and then I go, oh, wait a minute. Maybe I had a bit of Loki in my mind. Maybe my mind is Loki. But regardless of that fact, what can I compare him to? Well, I know something about Lakota spirituality, which the regular viewers of this channel know. And they have an archetype called the Heyoka, which is the clown. And they call it the sacred clown because, well, Lakota, they tend to view everything as sacred. Like, fun fact, like the Native Americans did not have any horses before the white man came to America. They didn't. They just had dogs, and the dogs, they carried some of their belongings, and they could travel, because they're nomadic, because they're Plains Indians. So when the horse came along, I believe the Lakota word for horse is like dog, but the word sacred in front of it, wakan. So, so if like for Lakota, something is something, but it's better, it's sacred. So what's that? What's that horse? It's a sacred dog. It's like a dog, but better. Good. Put that to the side again. The clown is sacred. Everything is sacred with these people, and I do believe that they're right, that there is a sacredness to life. That's what brought me into paganism at first. So the sacred clown, what does he do? Well, there are certain people of the Lakota, and they get a certain dream. And when they get that dream, that means spirit spoke to them. And they must be Lakota. They must be Heyoka. So Heyoka has to do everything in reverse. Everything the other way around. Now that's chaotic. That means when it's a lovely warm day like this, they have to dress up in their warmest clothes. And they have to go around all the village and all the people and all the tribe. They go, oh, it's so cold today. It's so cold. And the other way around, when it's just really cold, they have to like go in their swimming pants and go, oh, it's so hot today. Now, I believe that's a lot of fun for everybody to see. But I don't think it's just for entertainment purposes. Because it's not just superficial, shallow stuff. When something is sacred, you're supposed to say that's not sacred, and the other way around. And when you are afraid of something, you're supposed to run towards it. And when you really want something, you run the other way. Now that's chaotic. Now that's disorder. And I believe there's something valuable in that. There's a deep lesson in that. Have you ever been really afraid of something that you avoided it and you basically ran away from it? Could be love, could be responsibility, could be a lot of things. I think we all have one of those two things. I know I have had them, and I probably still do. Yeah, I do. What happens if you run from something? It follows you. Isn't that crazy? You run from it and it chases you. But then you also have other people, and they don't run from things, they run towards things. Like they really want to be accepted and they want to be appreciated. So they do a lot of things to get that acceptance and appreciation. Do they get it? Most of the times, no. So if you summarize that, if you run from something, it follows you. And if you run to something, it runs away from you. And I think that's a profound lesson of chaos. I think that is what we can call Loki's law. I think you can put this in practice in your life too. You know, be somebody else for a week, for a month, one day. That is the law of Loki. If you are afraid, move towards it. If you want to move towards it, move in the other direction. That's, I believe, is how you hack the matrix. That, my friends, is how you get progress. Now, I could tell you my personal story and go like, I always ran away like from real responsibility, love and family and relationships and shit. And the moment I stopped doing that, well, the moment life kicked my ass and I started doing that, things started to move in a positive direction real effing fast. But it's best you experience this shit for yourself. Don't want to turn this into an Instagram motivational video. If you believe, then you can achieve. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Thank you for everybody who likes the videos, who shares the videos. I'm having a lot of fun here on YouTube. And I intend to make these videos slightly better with each iteration.